am beyond excited to have you all here today. I realize that it's a beautiful Saturday morning in San Diego. There's lots of places you could be, and you've chosen to be here with us. So thank you for spending the next hour with us. We have some great information to share with you. So without further ado, I'm going to give you a little bit of background, sort of a little bit about me, but also how I came to find the Nrf2 and Nrf2 Activation and what it's done for my practice. So I was trained actually originally in Australia, which is where I'm from, with a Bachelor of Health Sciences, and then went on to Bastyr University and got my doctorate of naturopathic medicine. Graduated in 2003 and then came down to San Diego. So I've been sort of within a block. I had a tiny little office, kitty corner, what do you guys say, catty corner, kitty corner, whichever, over there. And I've been in this space for about 7 or 8 years now, I think. And we have a wonderful team of practitioners here. 2 of them are here today. 3, excuse me, are here today. So it's really great. And so I have a very integrative practice. I mostly work with Lyme disease and autism. So they're the sort of 2 big specialties. I do less autism now than I used to because Lyme really has pretty much taken over my practice. But that's kind of my 2 areas that I'm very passionate about. So anyone who knows anything about chronic Lyme will understand it's very, very complex. And so I have a practice full of very, very unwell people. And it's challenging and it's rewarding and it's all of those different things. But I'm always open and listening for what else is out there that's helping people. What else can I do to get people through these really devastating illnesses? And so it actually came directly from a patient of mine saying, you know what, this is something I've incorporated into my protocol and it's making a massive difference for me. And I went, oh, that's interesting. Let me learn about that. Let me see what's going on there. And this is somebody who had the double whammy of chronic Lyme disease and mycotoxin illness or mold toxicity, which is really, very, very challenging to overcome. So I thought, gosh, if this can cut through that and lead to a much enhanced quality of life, then this is something that I need to know about for the rest of my practice. So I researched. There's a lot of science here, and we're going to share a little bit with you today about that. But I did my due diligence and did my research and then started doing trials with my patients. And I will say it's been fairly incredible what I've been able to witness as a result of that. And that's sort of what makes me so passionate about educating other healthcare practitioners, because we're all looking for those things, right? We're looking for those things for our own health that are like 1 in a million, but we're also looking for those things for the people that we care about, our family and friends, the people that we work with in our practices. And so this is something that you really, you need to know about because it's really, really fantastic. So the format for this morning, I'm just going to give you a bit of a rundown of sort of the core products and the ingredients and kind of how these products work. And then we're going to have you watch just a short video, 10-minute video, that will really give you a sense of kind of where this all came from. I'm going to turn over a little bit later to Carrie to share a little bit about the company and the story about who is actually developing these products. And then we are going to hear from one individual who's had a remarkable recovery, and then we'll open up for Q&A. So all that in the next hour, so I'll keep moving forward here. So when I first heard about Nrf2 activation, I was like, Nrf what? Okay, so off I go to my computer and I start researching. And, we all Google things, but, us medical geeks, we go to PubMed as well, because that's where we really look for research on things. And the first thing I found was 24 peer-reviewed studies in PubMed that relate to this particular topic. So let me give you a little quick rundown on how Nrf2 activators work. Nrf2 are actually protein synthesis pathways within the cell. They're signaling pathways. So Nrf2 has influence or has control over 200 different genes in the cell. And so it can influence the way genes are expressed and influence different pathways within our cells. Okay, so the Nrf2 activators, the net result is a dramatic reduction in oxidative stress. Okay, so the research shows an average of 40% in the first 30 days, which is profound. Oxidative stress, inflammation, toxicity, they're all at the root of so many of our chronic issues that we're dealing with and seeing in our folks. And so we really need to work on that cellular level to affect long-term and lasting change. So dramatic reduction in oxidative stress, which right there is a preventive of so many different things, but it just really helps to up-regulate the health of every single cell in the body. The other thing it will do is boost glutathione production, our endogenous glutathione production, meaning we all produce glutathione, and if we can internally produce more, then great, so much the better. And I've always been a fan of glutathione supplementation before I came across the Nrf2. And I'm not saying that supplementation is necessarily bad, but what we're doing with Nrf2 is not supplementing. It's activating the cells to do it by itself. So we have a dramatic uptick, about 300% increase in endogenous glutathione production. Glutathione is our master antioxidant. It's the most important antioxidant in our body. And it also is imperative for phase 2 liver detoxification. And so we have this increase in glutathione further helping the reduction in oxidative stress, but also supporting detoxification. Okay? The Nrf2 activators also turn on other genes that support detoxification. And so I feel like in my patients, this is a huge piece in what's helping them, is opening up the detox pathways so that they can get those toxins out, the mycotoxins, the heavy metals, the toxins that come from candida overgrowth and things of that nature. So the detox capability is huge. And then, like I said, it does help gene expression. Okay, so we have our DNA, and that's transcribed to RNA, which ends up becoming proteins, right? So we have our DNA. It's not to say that we can necessarily go in and rewrite that completely, but we can influence the way that it is made into proteins, which are the building blocks of our whole body. And so this is what we see too, and we see that a lot in methylation. If somebody has methylation defects or MTHFR defects, we kind of supplement them with the methyl donors, don't we? So we give the body more methyl donors so that that pathway can move more smoothly. And that influences immune function, and it influences neurotransmitter production. And that influences the detoxability of an individual. So if we can help the expression of not only the MTHFR, but a couple of hundred other genes, we're helping that cell to get into a much healthier place. So what's interesting about the Nrf2 activator, it's a combination of 5 herbs: milk thistle, bacopa, green tea, ashwagandha, and curcumin. They're all like wonderful, wonderful herbs and have their own individual place. But what the research has found is that even though the Nrf2 may not have massive doses of any of these individual things, when put together in a very specific ratio, and that ratio is actually a patented formula, so this is the only way that we can get that particular formulation, the synergistic effect is profound. Okay, so a lot of people will say, oh, but I take all of those individually. Well, maybe so, but maybe they don't have to. Maybe they can get a better effect from less pills to take, and feeling better without having to take, 5 separate different things. So that's the Nrf2 activator. So I think of the Nrf2 activator as reducing oxidative stress, increasing detoxification, okay, and helping with healthy gene expression. The Nrf1 activator is working more on mitochondrial repair. So again, I said oxidative stress, inflammation, toxicity, and I would add mitochondrial dysfunction, are going to be at the root of so many chronic health issues that we may face individually or that people around us may face. So the Nrf1 is really focused on mitochondrial repair. The mitochondria are the little engines in the cell that produce your ATP. ATP is your energy currency, right? It's like saying I have money, but what you actually have is dollars. I have energy, what I actually have is ATP, okay? So the ATP increase is going to help people feel more energized. And that's one of the first things I get feedback on with the Nrf1 and Nrf2 is I'm just feeling more energized. But it also provides that energy that's required to fuel all the biochemical pathways in the body. Okay? okay, including the sort of upregulation of the pathways that the Nrf2 is supporting. So they really work well together. The Nrf1 is providing the energy for the Nrf2 to do its work, right? So the Nrf2 is taking out the trash, the Nrf1's giving the Nrf2 the energy to take out the trash, right? Or giving the cell the energy to get through those pathways. So the Nrf1, I've got my cheat sheet because I don't want to forget anything, has acetyl L-carnitine, quercetin, grape, grapeseed, alpha-lipoic acid, and coenzyme Q10. So it's a really nice blend of mitochondrial healers and repairers. And I do want to make a note too. I mean, my context is very, very sick individuals that are just sort of flat out getting out of bed for the day. But these products have been amazing in the athlete community. So, I mean, what athlete wouldn't want less oxidative stress so they'd have quicker recovery and repair from workouts? What athlete wouldn't want a boost in glutathione so that their glutathione is energizing within itself? And then the Nrf1 helping with the mitochondria, it's giving them a lot more fuel for the workouts that they're doing. So this is there's a lot of athletes who are utilizing this sort of medical breakthrough and incorporating it into their training regimens and their nutrition regimens. So that's Nrf1. The other thing I want to talk about is something called Axio. And Axio is possibly my favorite of all of them. I have seen profound results with myself when I take Axio in the morning. It's just a powdered drink mix. We call it Nrf2 Activation for the brain. So it's all brain-targeted nutrients. Now, I've also heard it nicknamed the executive drink. My patients who are trying to get out of bed in the morning love it too, because then they can get out of bed in the morning. And so Axio is more sort of for brain as well. So yes, physical energy, but what I notice the most is mental energy, mental clarity, cognitive improvements. And just by way of example, like if I have a full day of patients back to back, I mean, I often get home and my husband's like, what happened to you? You know, I'm sort of looking like I've seen a deer in the headlights, something like that. With the Axio, I walk out not feeling mentally fatigued. I walk out not feeling kind of that frazzled, overwhelmed feeling. I just feel like calm and clear, and it's great. And I also know for myself, I'm a runner, if I have my Axio and run, it's a lot better scenario than if I don't have my Axio and run. I've learned that the hard way. So the Axio has niacin, vitamin B6, B12, magnesium, but the focus ingredients are DMAE, green tea extract, quercetin, pine bark, and L-theanine. So we also use this a lot in the autism community because it supports like focused brain function, but it's also kind of calming. The theanine just takes the anxiety off, so it's not overly stimulating. The Axio is available in caffeinated and decaffeinated. So when you have caffeine sensitive folks, they just choose the decaf. There's a couple of different flavors there. Ironically, in the ADHD community, even those people are usually kiddos, they're having good results with the caffeinated blend. Because I guess those kids need that stimulant, and you know, some naturally occurring caffeine is likely a better choice than Ritalin or Adderall or whatever the other pharmaceuticals are that they've been taking. So they're, in my view, like sort of three of the huge elements. There is also a probiotic that I just want to mention. We know the role of gut health in everything. And so the microbiome is really being regarded as so central to so many different illnesses. I actually did an interview just the other day with a documentary team who's doing a whole docu-series just on gut health. And so we were talking about like the close connection between gut health and autism, or the close connection between gut health and depression or anxiety or even bipolar or schizophrenia. I mean, it's amazing. And now increasing research about gut flora and diabetes. That dysbiosis or imbalances in the gut flora are predisposing people to metabolic syndrome and diabetes type 2. So the research is clear. Gut health is crucial. So the probiotic is really nice. It's coated so that it doesn't break down with the stomach acid. It keeps going to the intestines, which is where it's supposed to go. It also contains beta-glucans, and they're immune modulating agents so they help strengthen the immune system while providing really high quality probiotics for the gut. So that's sort of a component of it as well. just to mention, there are a couple of different product lines that I'm not going to get into too much detail with today, but I just want you to be aware of them. There's a really great weight management system that contains an appetite suppressant, a really healthy, clean whey protein powder, a metabolism booster or metabolism stimulant. And so there's a really good system there that's promoting healthy eating and promoting healthy lifestyle. And, you know, this is not like a diet kind of plan. It's, you know, helping the metabolism and helping people get back into balance with their food and using some natural supplements to support them in that process. So I really like that. There is also a skincare line, and we are really excited that we're getting a new hair care line out. And so at face value, they may seem a little bit more superficial, but so many people have issues with their skin, have, you know, psoriasis, eczema, things going on, acne, things going on with their skin that they can't control. And that makes a massive difference to how people feel internally. And so it's not just about preventing the wrinkles. Well, maybe it's about preventing the wrinkles. But it's not just about that. You know, we're helping people. The skin is an organ of the body too. So we're helping that get more healthy, reducing oxidative stress. It's Nrf2 activation for the skin. So from an anti-aging standpoint, it's pretty powerful. The new hair care line is just due to be released. Again, you know, we all love having pretty hair. And a lot of my patients are experiencing chronic hair loss, and they don't know why. And it's really very discouraging, and it's really quite disabling. And so we have some research that shows that the hair care line can actually help with regrowth and with slowing down hair loss. So to me, that's an important thing. I have so many patients that come to me and go, oh my gosh, my hair's falling out, what can I do? And, you know, we screen all the sort of the different parameters of things that could be contributing to it and try and find the root cause. But rather than sending them off for some fairly, you know, toxic nioxin or something like that, now we have an option of something that's going to help their hair growth and get them feeling good about themselves again. Because I'm sure if any of you have experienced, you know, health challenges, sometimes those little things make all the difference. So I really love, you know, I just really love this. This is really profound. It's a real medical breakthrough, and it's been a turning point in my practice and the efficacy that I have with my patients. It's helping my other treatments work better. And, you know, there are 1,000 doctors operating and healthcare practitioners operating in this company with these products. And that was really powerful to me. Like cardiologists and, I mean, top docs in the nation are seeing this and realizing like how significant it is. We also know that there's some big pharma who have investigated the science. And so they'll probably, you know, I don't know if they'll follow through and do their thing or not, but we have something available to us that's not prescription, that's all natural, that's really cost effective for our clients or patients, and that works. So what's not to love? You know, I just feel very blessed that I have been able to incorporate this into my protocols. So on that note, we are going to run a quick video for you guys to watch. It'll just help you understand a little bit more of the background. So this works in animals just the same as it works in humans. And so there's a big group of people using it in the equine community and finding that it's helping, you know, with reducing inflammation and helping healing from injuries and things like that. And there's also a pet tandem. So that's a lower dose that's appropriate for like dogs and cats and things like that. So we can get the whole family healthy. Animals think about it. It's very important. Okay, so now I'm going to hand over to Carrie Dickey. Carrie has been with the company for 8.5 years. And so she's going to sort of fill you in on the company story. She's actually flown out to meet Dr. McCord. She's a wealth of knowledge and information. So
thank you for having me. Gosh, honestly, Dr. Nicola, I've heard medical professionals talk about Protandim and our product line for 8.5 years, and I don't think I've ever heard it so succinctly and so tightly and in such a, usually I'm just hoping that they'll keep moving, and that was just amazing. So I want you to know, I'm a little bit nervous because she has told me about all of you, and she has mad respect for each and every one of you. And that's a big responsibility, you know, for someone like me to walk in and talk to a group like you. So I'm very grateful that you're here. I'm very grateful that you're going to listen to me, and thank you for trusting me with your group of colleagues and business partners and friends and maybe family, I don't know. But anyway, I live up the road in San Juan Capistrano, and again, we have a beautiful day here, so I'm glad that you've taken a little bit of time with us. I want to tell you a little bit about the company story. So that clip that aired, the beginning part you saw at the end, it said for more information go to abcnews.com. Yes? Remember that? And everybody did. This was 13 years ago. They emailed the company, they ordered the products, they went to ABC News, and everybody wanted the product. In fact, it was a publicly traded company, and the stock went from $1 a share to $20 practically overnight on sheer speculation as to what Protan could do inside people's bodies. There was only one teeny tiny problem, and that is that Joe McCord is a researcher and a scientist. Didn't have a sales team, didn't have a marketing team, they weren't Amazon, didn't have people with headsets ready to take the orders. They were simply ill prepared. So calls kept coming in, and I've been to Joe McCord's office in Denver, and I had this vision of 6 or 8 scientists running around in white lab coats, and the phone is ringing off the hook, and they're like, what on earth is happening in this office today? The phone rang and rang and rang. And people just didn't get their calls returned, their orders returned, and it seems like that would have been the end of the story, but it wasn't. Because doctors and researchers and scientists left messages, and they said, please give us a call back. We want to get hold of some of this product. We would like to initiate and fund our own studies. So studies were initiated and funded all around the country and all around the world. You saw some of the places: University of Colorado, Denver, Denver Health Medical Center, Universities of Florida, Kentucky, Louisiana State, even places like Wales, Sweden, the Czech Republic, and Mexico City. So as Dr. Nicola alluded to today, you can go where medical professionals go, which is www.pubmed.gov, and you will see the National Library of Medicine's website. You will see 24 peer-reviewed published studies. When I heard about this 8.5 years ago, we had 3. So today there are 24 peer-reviewed published studies linking oxidative stress to everything that it's all about Protandim, those 24. You will also, if you were to type in oxidative stress, you will see nearly 200,000 studies linking oxidative stress to everything that you don't want. Things like lupus and fibromyalgia and allergies and warts and diabetes, obesity, cancer, heart disease, Lou Gehrig's, like you name it, it is totally linked. So again, 24 studies on Protandim, including one published in Circulation Magazine of the American Heart Association, one at Louisiana State University on skin cancer. So I invite you and encourage you to go to PubMed and look what's there. But back to the story. So people weren't getting their calls returned, but on the back end, studies were initiated and funded, started to come to fruition, but mostly anecdotal evidence was flooding in. And I can tell you that if I could download my brain into yours, is what I've seen over the last 8.5 years, what has happened inside the bodies of men, women, children, beasts, dogs, cats, rats, and elephants, and I'm not kidding. It is astounding. You seriously would not sleep tonight. But so anyway, the shareholders are trying to decide, like, how are we going to get this out to the people? So they put it in GNC, CVS, Rite Aid, some of these drugstores and pharmacies, and literally it sold a half a bottle per store per month for 4 years. You see, it was a $50 bottle sitting on a shelf along with, imagine what a GNC looks like, or a Mother's Market. I mean, the bottle was not impressive. We don't have a beautiful bottle today, we'll show you, but the bottle wasn't impressive, and the minimum wage employee behind the counter had no idea why they should be talking about it. Was it something I said?
Oh, no.
I'm only teasing. I'm just kidding. Anyway, a little levity. It's so serious in here. So anyway, so finally, they hired a consultant and said, we just need to get this out. What do you suggest? And they said, and this consultant took one look at the ABC Primetime Investigative Report. He said, I have never, ever seen anything, all positive, no negative, totally third party. I recommend person-to-person distribution, word-of-mouth advertising, and that's where the company went in May of 2009. So it's a $200 million company at this point, and what I like to say is a $200 million secret. You know, I think you can all agree with me that can be the land of the fruits and the nuts out here in Southern California. I mean, people will do anything to look and feel better, and they put things in and take things out, and it's pretty crazy. And we have products that are literally changing people's lives at the cellular level. So I'm going to be 57 in January, you know, right around the corner. I can't believe it. And when I saw that video at 48, I was just beyond frustrated that I hadn't been taking it since I was 20. I just couldn't believe it. I was just chafing at the bit, like, how can I get hold of that stuff? And everybody else was on the couch that saw the video that night too. And I started taking the products. I've been doing Bikram yoga at that point I've already been doing it 18 years now. So, you know, really into health and wellness and fitness. I was a fitness instructor. I knew about oxidative stress, and I was, just like I said, rabid to get hold of that product, but not because I had a physical issue. To my knowledge, I didn't have any issues until I started taking Protandim. Then I started to realize, like, oh my gosh, I'm sleeping through the night. I'm not getting up and going to the bathroom 14 times, and waking up refreshed, waking up and ready to go, no lag time, waking up earlier than I had ever woken up before. And some days, waking up, sleeping till 8 o'clock in the morning, which was like, I've never done that in my life. Some people sleep in, and they're like, I have to set an alarm, I sleep so deeply. And some people just wake up 2 or 3 hours earlier and gain more life. It's amazing. I had white spots under my nails like my entire life. They went away. I don't even know what that means, but you probably all know. So I haven't looked into that, but I'm just excited that they don't have them anymore. I didn't go to the dentist for longer than usual, a couple of years, and I remember my doctor saying to me, what have you done in your mouth? And I said, I know, Kent, I'm sorry. I said, I have been so insanely busy with the kids and my business, but he said, no, Carrie, your gums are pink, not red. Your pockets went from 4s to 3s and 3s to 2s and 2s to 1s. There is no bleeding. There is a dramatic difference in your mouth. Well, I didn't know, but oxidative stress is highly linked to gum care and gingivitis. So additionally, and it does sound crazy, but these are all the little things that I was able to notice over the first year taking it. And Dr. McCord says the longer you're on it, the better it gets. And one of the things that happened almost immediately for me, and it has not happened for a lot of people, so don't get super excited, but I was wearing the cheaters, you know, the glasses that I hated it because I would lose them and sit on them, and I could never find them when I needed them, and I didn't want the string, and it just was so frustrating. And suddenly, within a few weeks, I noticed, like, I'm able to read a menu in a dark restaurant, and then I learned that oxidative stress is highly linked with eye care. Macular degeneration, glaucoma, cataracts, I mean, all of that stuff is linked to oxidative stress. So anything you might be dealing with, or any of your patients, type in oxidative stress and you will probably likely see studies. Additionally, there's a little section off to the right that shows you the interest in the number of studies that are coming to fruition over the last 20 years, and it's going up dramatically. So this is a brand new, not to everybody, but to most people and many physicians. I have a Dr. Mark Gordon up in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, that literally has become rabid about these products and what he has seen, and he's not even a cardiologist at the Avera Heart Hospital anymore because he is so passionate about being able to help so many, many, many more people. Dr. Pratiksha Gandhi is the first female preventive cardiologist in the entire country of India, and she says this is the most profound tool that I have been able to put into my toolbox since beginning my study of anti-aging, which has been lifelong for her. She said the results she's having with her patients are off the hook. So we have internists and all kinds of chiropractors and medical practitioners of all sorts that are clamoring in to learn about this medical breakthrough. So I know that you can only retain so much, and I could literally go on for days. I told you a few little things that have happened inside my body. We are having insane results with the little people. Incredible. incredible results with the A's, autism, ADHD, Asperger's, like incredible. We're not allowed to make any medical claims. Protandim is not meant to cure, treat, prevent, or mitigate disease. Did I say it's not meant to cure, treat, prevent, or mitigate disease? But it's God's pharmacy, right? It's what comes off the trees and out of the ground. And I tell people it is not a miracle pill, but it is a miracle body.
Thank you, Carrie. Yeah, so when I got
And
in
how
touch,
old are you, girl?
I'm 25. Yeah, thank you. I got in touch with Jenny about 6 months ago, and at the time I was in bed for about 3 years and on IV feeding. I had severe gastroparesis from Lyme and severe immunodeficiency and tremoring, and really the inability to even process a Netflix or anything like that. I was waiting days to shower. I couldn't decide what tea to drink because it was too scary and I couldn't remember. And I took these products, and it was by the third night, I didn't have to take a break from my bathroom coming back to my room on the floor. And usually that was like a normal thing. I also wasn't having to take breaks in the kitchen while trying to cook. And within a week, I was off the IVs, off the port to things orally. Within 2 weeks, I was surfing, and I took a dance class, and I actually have a video of that. And I was able to just switch to everything orally as far as immunotherapy. And it's truly been, after 180 grand worth of treatment, it was the first thing I took that actually I felt it allowing everything else to work. With all of these different tinctures and things that I would get from my Lyme doctor, I would never feel a difference with the herbal. I mean, sometimes, but because of the inflammation and all the different toxicity, I couldn't really tell what was working very well. And so with these, I took them, and right away, like within 4 days, I was noticing changes in when I would take everything, and it was actually working. And so within even 5 months, I was out of menopause. I was in menopause for about 5 years from Lyme, and that came back, and then I got the whole anemia portion from the babesia under control. And it's true, like even with the Axio, if I do have a maintenance IV to do here or there, I will just come back to life. Like, it is such a fast, kind of activation. And so for me, I was able to get off the IVs, get off IV feeding, the IV antibiotics, get off all of the supplements that I was once on, as far as trying to kind of take for all the different things, even with the gastroparesis. And I've gotten my entire life back. It's amazing. I have so much energy. I teach hip hop, which is so fun.
And you tried to get into Dr. Nicola for a
Yeah.
long time
Yeah.
for treatment, yes?
Yeah, I remember holding her book in bed, reading your Lyme diet book when I was in bed, when I was trying to get into the right doctor. And that's when I kind of started on the doxycycline and all the different kinds of drugs, and I was trying to figure out, what do I eat? This is so scary. But yeah, I held her book and I read it, attempted to read it at the beginning of everything. And so I'm just so thankful, because it truly is something that even for a Lyme patient, it is so cost effective when you're taking all of these things. And if you're at the point where I was at for my parents, my IVs were about $2 grand every 2 weeks. My dad was my nurse, and we were priming everything, and we were doing everything that way. And unfortunately, we don't quite have, as you know, a full agreement on Lyme and treatment and all of the insurance with everything like that. So for something like this to be all-encompassing, especially with the Vitality Stack that LifeVantage has, which is the Omega Probiotic, Nrf1 and Nrf2, it is if you go and see a Lyme doctor or a holistic naturopath, even for Lyme, this is something that you will be on. And this was the first probiotic out of 28 that I've tried that actually got the Bell's palsy under control, which is insane. wasn't living on enemas after this, wasn't living on laxatives. There's just a lot of things I could really go down, but my hair grew back, just grew up. And so if we think about it, it's working on a cellular level, and when we're doing that and we're upregulating glutathione and catalase and amylase and all these natural antioxidant enzymes that the body should be producing when we're not ill, it makes a lot of sense why someone like me, who was living in bed and unable to tolerate light, sound, anything really, it just makes sense how it activates the person back to life. And some people, it does take a little bit more time than just a 4-day notice. It could take a little bit longer, but for me, that's my story, and I'm just so thankful.